So how do you measure the product market fit on a quantitative base? Some of you maybe hopefully know this already, but there's the product market fit survey by Sean Ellis, which is amazing. It's basically 4 questions. Now, let's say we use it for Holycode. You ask, how would you feel if you could no longer use Holycode? And there are 3 answers: very disappointed, somewhat disappointed, not disappointed at all. Then you ask them, what is the main benefit you receive from Holycode? What type of people do you think would most benefit from Holycode? How can we improve Holycode for you? So what you're really doing is you're asking those clients to tell you whether they love your product or not. What is their benefit in their own words that they get from you, not us thinking this is the benefit we're giving to them. You ask them who would be your ideal customer, question number 3. And you ask them what features they wish for, which always has to be taken with a grain of salt, obviously. So when you do that and you look at the first question, how would you feel if you could no longer use Holycode? Very disappointed, someone disappointed, or not disappointed at all. This will give you the product market fit score, which means you take the number of responses of the very disappointed users, so the ones that really like a product, and divide it by all responses. And then that gives you a chart that you can do over time. And in Sean Ellis logic, if you have a score that is above 40%, you are hitting product market fit. So more than 40% of your responses need to be, they're very disappointed, which is not that easy to get to. A quick second point on this, the minimum number of answers you should have here is around 40. So 40. So that probably means you need to have somewhere between 50 and 100 customers that you can talk to. The more, the better, obviously. But that's especially, in the B2B space that might be harder to get to than if you're in the B2C space, where that's relatively easy sometimes to get to. But this gives you the score. You can do that over time and you see how it evolves, but it will help you figure out your score. Now, the second part, which I think is even more powerful, is really what can you do out of the answers of the other questions, right? Because you can start doing cohort analysis. You can say, this is now from Holycode an example, and you will not be able to read it because it's too small, but you can start really saying, okay, from the very disappointed answers, we had 42% actually at Holycode, very disappointed users the last times we did it. So I think we just about hit product market fit. So from them, 10 said, this is what they get from it. 3 said, this is what they get from it. So you can really start figuring out what is it that those type of customers see as the main benefit of using our company. And then you look at the others and say, okay, what are the answers of all the others? What are they getting as a benefit? And maybe you see differences, right? The very disappointed users like something much more than others. But the important thing here is you need to be optimizing for the very disappointed user group and not for the other user groups. Once you start optimizing for the people that don't care, you're in no man's land and it's not going to work, right? And this distinction is really going to help you down the road. So then you can look at the attributes of these very disappointed users. So for example, we learned that women founders have a much higher tendency to be super happy with us than other male founders, for example. Then you look at the features, as I said, that they would like to have, and you can look at also the features of the somewhat disappointed people that they would like to have, because maybe those are the same, and then you might be able to move them up into this very disappointed state. But this is really, really great, and there's a lot of online content that shows you how to do this well. So yeah, it's not that difficult. It's just a 4-question survey. And the other thing, the more quantitative way of figuring out whether you have product market fit is what we said before already. That's really the retention rates. So from each cohort, how many of those users are still using your product after 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. And you ongoingly look at that over time. And then next month, you take the next cohort of people that came in this month and you look at that cohort. So because your product will change over time, right? So you don't want to have a mix of all of this. You always want to look at each cohort separately. Users that came in January, how are they still here in May? Users that came in February, how are they still here in May? That you can see whether the changes you do to your platform change something in your retention curves and it flattens earlier or later, that's a really good way to figure out what you're doing. But it's more lagging as a metric than the product market fit survey, for example. So you should have both sides. And then basically, that's the last slide that I want to show you, or the second last. Basically, what I think this will do to you. So if you do only these two things, you get the product market fit survey by Sean Ellis, right? And you really start working based on your retention rates, which is the most important. A lot of the other things are noise. You should be able to increase the product market fit that you have a lot over a relatively short time, just by following these two principles. And by doing that, there's this statistic that Professor G from, I think he was from the NYU University, they had, together with Forbes, analyzed the market of startups and figured out that, I don't know how representative it is, just before that the number of attempts you take to successfully found the startups, from the first one, there are only 10% that succeeds, so 90% fail. And then over time, this increases a lot. So by the 10th time you try, your success rate is 65%, apparently. I'm not sure how many they had that actually tried to found the company 10 times. But this really shows you that with experience, you start becoming much better at it, right? And I think that's simply learning a lot of the things that product market fit is about, plus some other learnings. So what we hope to be able to do is to get you from this initial maybe 10 or 19% to the upper parts of this scale through this product market fit tips that I've been giving to you now, but also through helping you as a company, Holycode, in creating impact by doing less technological mistakes, spending less money to get to where you are, and helping you increase the likelihood of success. So this is basically my sales slide here, just so you see what Holycode does. We're 400 employees. Our vision is that from ideation to IPO, we cover all technological services, and we help more than our goal is that more than 50% of startups out there in the market actually survive and strive instead of fail. And that's why we looked at this number lately, and we figured out that from the 100+ clients that we have, 96% of them are still alive today. So I think we have a good track record to show and to help you if you want or need help. That's it. That's all I wanted to say. Thanks for listening. Now, are there any questions to this topic? Is there anything that you would like to know more about or discuss? Then please feel free to unmute yourself and ask, or raise your hand or write it in the chat.